Hello everyone, I'm just going to try and do a quick sort of video tour of Greenslate Farm. I tried doing it a few weeks ago but it was dead cloudy and that didn't turn out so well. Alright, so this is the main driveway. You see the wearing shed ahead. We've got a porter cabin there where we've just got like a little kitchen and a small office and stuff like that, place to make a cup of tea, toilet and what have you. Over here we've got sort of like the first field that people see when they come in. It's not cleared yet, although if you could probably see over there we've got the goats in there and they're starting to eat through the overgrowth, doing a great job. This area in the front is just going to be mostly sort of flowers really, just to sort of make it look nice when people come in. There's a lot of like rubble and stuff as you could still see all the bricks and everything, and it wasn't really that good for growing stuff, so I thought make it look nice. We've got a few herbs and bits and pieces in there. Hello goat. Over here we've got the car park. It's a community farm and we're going to be doing all sorts of events here, so that's why we sort of need this bit of space. What we're hoping to do at some point is build a straw bale building on this bit you can see in front now, this sort of big stretch, and that will eventually replace the porter cabin. The porter cabin is more of just a temporary thing. It's a recycled one, but it's still, you know, it's not sustainable enough. We want something that's much better. Just come over to say hello to the goats. Hello, smile for the camera. There you go. They do, see? Always smiling, these goats. They're an absolute menace though. If you go online and search for a game called Goat Simulator, that'll give you a good idea of what it's like to work with goats, because they're just maniacal. They were trying to eat the chicken pen last time I was here. Absolutely crazy. So what this is going to be eventually, this bit of field here, is sort of community allotments. Sort of think of like a community food garden, that kind of thing. So we're just coming into the wearing shed. Hopefully hear the sound of wind drop down a bit when I'm in here. Oh, that's better. It's quite windy out there today. And when we first started the farm, it had been derelict for like 10-20 years or something. And so this was all just filled with clutter. We've had to, still got quite a bit in there, but we've had to sort of clean all of this out. It's been a major project in itself. Up here you can see like the layout of the allotments. I'll show you those a bit later. And essentially this is where a lot of the planning's done. So every Saturday there's a whole load of us come down here and we come and look at what's on these boards, and that tells us what needs doing. So you've got all the different priorities, administration tasks and specific tasks for volunteer days. But we've got people coming down, on Sundays and in the week. All the time there's someone here. There's always something going on, it never ends. These are the pens where we put the goats. So this one's the goat pen. And the chickens, a little chicken pen there. And we bring them in overnight basically, just so that they're not, out in the elements. And if it's the weather's bad or anything like that, they can come and stay in here. When the weather's not so bad, like today, they're out in their own little pens in the fields. So here's the chickens. These are ex-battery hens. So these were all in like those little, you see them on documentaries and stuff where they're all in those like tiny little cages, really badly treated. And we've had some problems because since releasing them, they'd never had to form community before. They were just cooped up in these little tiny boxes at some factory farm. And so when we put them together and they could roam around freely, some of them started attacking each other. They'd not gone through that community building phase. So it's taken us a few weeks to get them all nice and calm like this, and they're getting along just fine now. Here we have the pigs. These guys are just amazing and fantastic at clearing fields. All the fields, if you look at that one down there that's all still overgrown where the goats are, this whole area was like that. So what we did, we made these little paths and they go all the way up the side and a few of them go across, and put fences around them and then put the pigs in. And the pigs have basically eaten everything. As you can see, there's a few tufts left, but these pigs, that's why people call anyone who overeats a greedy pig, because pigs are greedy. They do eat everything. Not only do they clear the surface, but they burrow down and eat the roots as well. So it's really good for getting all the, brambles and stuff like that out. If we try to do this as humans, it'd just be a nightmare task for us. But these guys love it. Really nice animals. That's a pig ark. I'll show you one of those a bit closer up. We built these ourselves. We've got the designs from Permaculture magazine, and it's made out of recycled plastic, that bit at the bottom, and then just some corrugated metal sort of folded over the top, and that's where the pigs live, in there, and they go in there when it's raining or to sleep, and they absolutely love it. You have to change the hay in them. This one's not in use at the moment, but you have to change the hay in them sort of once a week and keep the water. We've got like water bowls for them in there, something to drink. So, right, this is the allotments. So this field was previously cleared by the pigs, and now we've made this into allotment patches, like that thing I showed you on the wall in the wearing shed earlier. And so we've got loads of them here, and it's really good land because it's been fertilised by the pig poop. So all the soil as well is being cultivated by the pigs, so it's much easier for the growers to get stuff done. And this brings in a bit of money for the farm. So these allotments people are paying for because they want their own private bit of growing space, and that generates some money for the farm, helps pay some of the bills like water and electric and so on. Video it. We don't actually know what this bit is, do we? We can't. It was done one of the weeks we weren't here, but it's so cool. So basically, you had all these trees. Oh, stupid trying to put my phone up like that and mess up all the video. So we've got all. It was like a big row of these sort of trees, and a lot of them were sort of pretty much dead. Yeah. So what happened is they've been cut off. You can sort of see it down here a bit better, where they've sort of chopped them off, but left a bit there that's still attached. Yeah, so these are still growing. If you look. You see the buds there, you can see more down here. This one's flourishing.
It took them over ages to do it.
Yeah, so you've got
this. You had to interlink it all together, so you just get a living
tree it's like a weave.
Goes across.
Yeah, a sideways tree. but this is like a big windbreak, isn't it?
It's a big windbreak, but it's also it makes it all nice and tight, but it looks lovely as well.
Yeah, and it's a good habitat for the animals.
I've seen it done in the lakes, and I wish I could find exactly what it is, but it's wonderful how they've done it. Yeah. How they break it out.
Just up here at the top corner of the allotment field. This field, well, all these fields that we're looking at now, this is about 12 acres I think, is where we're going to be growing food, but we're going to be doing it in a sort of permaculture way. So instead of having tractors and things like that and spraying pesticides and other chemicals on it, we're going to work with nature rather than against it. The soil here is really good. It's still alive. It's not being killed by chemicals. Where you see these trees, these new trees that we planted sort of dotted throughout the field, we're going to have what's called swales. Now a swale is like a man-made ditch that will collect water and allow the water to seep into the ground over time. And then on the other side of the ditch we sort of have trees and shrubs and things like that act as a windbreak, and also attract or repel certain types of bugs and what have you. The trees are really good as well because they help water, when it rains, they help the water get into the soil, down under the soil, down to the water table. Without that you get your field flooding, as you probably saw in like England and other places around the world. When you have massive rainfall, it floods because the water's got nowhere to go. It just sort of sits on the surface and then it builds up and the surface gets all like a bowl essentially. You get all the big floods. Over in the distance, which I probably won't go over and look at today because I've got to get off in a minute, we have a forest, mostly willow trees. Let's see if I can zoom in on that. I don't know if I can. No. And we've got all sorts of stuff planned in there as well. So we're going to be making charcoal in there, and we're going to be doing sort of events for kids, like a little campsite where they can learn about permaculture and beekeeping and all that kind of stuff. That there is our dual polytunnel. That was a nightmare. It took us about 2 or 3 weeks just to dismantle it at the place where we got it from, because it had all rusted away, so I've had to clean it up and just big nightmare. Even like digging the hole that it's in took ages. So you get a fairly good idea, I hope, from this of the size of the main growing area. As you can see as well, there's houses around most of it. So we're sort of almost in the middle of a housing estate. All around here, more houses, more houses, more houses, more houses, all the way down. And sort of over there, beyond the houses, there's actually a nature reserve. That's hopefully going to protect us a bit from fracking. Fingers crossed. So it's a big site. And then we're doing it currently all by hand, which might seem like an overly romantic way of doing things, but it's building the community. You know, we've made all of this happen ourselves. We've used the machines a few times, but the bulk of it we've done ourselves. You know, shovels in our hand, digging, wheelbarrows, and we look at it now, and it's nowhere near finished. You know, this is a several-year project to get this all fully operational, but we're committed to it because we can see progress every week. We see even here these raised beds in one of the allotments. These have only just gone in. It might be a private allotment, but we look at it and think, well, we cleared that land, and then we put the pigs in, and they finished clearing that land, and then, you know, all these things we've done to just allow these allotments to exist, and now they're in use. It's like you know, like a chef says that they want to see their customers smile and enjoy the food. Well, on a permaculture farm, you want to see the growers planting stuff and growing food that goes onto those chefs. So this is just joyous for us. Now, I know I said I wasn't going to go to the woods, but I can't resist, and I might as well do it. Oh, this stuff. Wood mulch, absolute dream. If you want to learn about why wood mulch is so important, especially the stuff that's got green bits in it, so it's not all bark and stuff, it's branches and leaves. Have a look on the internet for a film called Back to Eden. I think it's Back to Eden. I'll have to check. But it's about this farm in America where you just let nature do its stuff, and we got really good produce from it. This here is our little mini builder's yard. This is all the recycled materials that we found while we've been clearing the farm, and also some stuff like some of those bricks over there that people have brought to us. And one of the things we're thinking of doing, because we've got loads of other projects that we've got planned, is to actually set up a recycled building materials yard. Most construction companies throw a load of stuff away that they don't need. So if they give it to us, then we can actually put it to good use on projects like this. You know, farms and eco-build houses and all that kind of stuff. Over here, just before we get going over to the forest, because this used to be a sort of proper old school farm. So this is basically where all the cow swill went. This big sort of pond, if you like, and it floods on a regular basis. I guess there's several feet of water in here at times if it's raining bad. So we started clearing that out. Well, I say started. There's quite a bit to do, as you can see. Ah, this path, look at it now. We didn't know this path was here. It was one of our clear outs. We suddenly discovered a path, so we started clearing it out. We've been finding these paths everywhere. They've been all overgrown. But now we've found them, we clear them, and it all gets a nice little walkway. So we've even got some steps down here. Just dodge these branches. Ooh. Isn't that nice? So here, we're going up to the path there that leads to the, if you can see that, I don't know, there, that leads to the little forest. Get an idea of the size of the field from this direction as well. You know, that's a lot of growing space. You'll notice here along the fences, and we're starting to do this against all the fences on the farm, we've got hundreds, actually about 800 trees that we've planted. And it's a lot of trees, but when you get like a team of 30 people doing these, it takes no time. It's just like a couple of hours work, if that, and it's nice and leisurely. So these are going to act as windbreaks, but they're not just any trees, they're hedging trees. So each one of them, and I just realised I can't remember the names of them all, each one of them produces something edible, but also they provide habitat for other wildlife. So this is it on a normal farm. You wouldn't really want other wildlife roaming around. You know, you don't want rabbits or foxes or bugs and all this. But on a permaculture farm, where you're working with nature, not against it, you do. So I'll probably just sort of fast forward this next bit up until the gate. Look at that. High speed walk up to the gate. I'm just trying to open this a bit. Bear with me. Obviously, this will be made a bit easier to do by the time we actually start using this. So it's just to, you know, keep people out, because it's a bit of a minefield at the moment, this place. Oh, there goes my coat. Nice big grip in it. Oh, my wife's going to kill me. So, look at the state on that. Can you see it on there? I don't know. Oh, there it is. Big rip. So, you'll notice there are a few paths down here, and that's because people walk the dogs in this area. And that's one of the things we've got to think about when you've got a farm that's next to a housing estate. Is people walk the dogs. Dogs poop, and you don't want dog poop on your food. So there's a lot of thought going into saying, you know, we don't want to stop people walking the dogs. How do we give them somewhere where they can walk the dogs that's good for them and good for us? So we're going to be thinking about that. Most of these trees are willow. There's a few oaks and stuff like that in here. As you can see by the grasses, it's a fairly wet area. There's a lot of water runs off the housing estate. So I don't know if you can sort of see that, but it's quite waterlogged. So there's a lot of water runoff from the housing estate, which is basically like a big slab of concrete. Yay for humans. We didn't think that one through too well, did we? This is why you get floods. And most of that water, but not all, God, it's really soggy, runs into this. That sort of murky pond. I can't get too close because I don't know if you sort of see on the ground, but it's really, really wet, and I've only got trainers on, and it's already seeping through. So this pond catches all the dirty housing estate water. You know, it's just dirt off the road and stuff like that. It's still mucky water. It catches it, filters it, and then if I go down here, I'll just do another fast forward. So there we are, you've got this little stream, just a small stream. Keep going. And it comes down. Oh, hello. Hiya. So you've basically got this pathway here where it goes into the nature reserve. And I'll possibly show you that another day. Definitely not going to have time to do that today. But what I will try and show you is this stream down here. You can probably see how clear the water is, hopefully, fingers crossed. Yeah, it looks fairly clear today. Not too bad, it's a bit slow moving. You see it's a lot clearer than the water that was further up. So nature has basically filtered that. There we go. Being chased by a dog. Oops. So now I have to find my way back. There we go. So as you can see, those are traditional fields that a tractor's been on. Bad idea. up at the dirty pond. I don't know if you can see, it's sort of like the water's almost grey. All the sort of crap that comes off roads. That's where it comes in from, like the drains and stuff, up at the housing estate. And now I'm going to do a very brief sort of shot of what it's like in the forest. God, it's so damp here. Waterlogged. All the runoff from the housing estate. Hear my feet squelching. So we started making this sort of little pathway through the forest. And as you can see, it's fairly dense. A lot of these trees were just planted here. You can sort of see they're in a kind of a bit of a grid pattern. But over the years, all the trees have just sort of naturally sprung up. So you've got a little path there that goes up to the housing estate. Random sewing machine. That's the sort of thing you don't normally see in the forest. But you'll notice here, you've got this clearing. And there's a few of these. So if you look up there where that bucket is, there's another one. We've got all these sort of little clearings. And the idea is to take the existing paths, make them a bit less squelchy, make it easier for people to come in here and see what's going on. Oh, it looks so different without the leaves on the trees. Last time I was in here, it was like completely overgrown. You couldn't see where you were going. This is so much easier when it's not. And the trees, the leaves aren't on the trees. So you see, it just goes on and on and on. There's about 5 acres of this woodland. There's a little pond there, and you know, there's all sorts you can do with this. So we're planning to basically start a fruit forest in here. Well, a food forest, sorry, I should say. Get food trees and climbers and all sorts of other stuff. The willow branches, some of them will be going to use to make charcoal, and that brings a little bit of revenue in to help with the upkeep of the farm. But others, you sort of mat them together, put them in a bundle on the ground, and provide habitats for wildlife. So this is the difference between conventional farm. We don't see an area like this and think, oh, let's bulldoze it and put fields in, and you know, tractors, pesticides and all the rest of it. We see this and think, how can we help nature along, you know, make it go a bit quicker perhaps, but in a way that works with us as well. We don't have to destroy this, we keep it, we turn what many farmers would see as a problem into a solution. I think that's it for now, because it's probably going to be quite boring for people watching me wander around the forest. So there we go, thanks.